everyone, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be an episode 3 review of The Handmaid's Tale season 4. It premiered on Wednesday night / Tuesday night on Hulu. So if you haven't checked it out, don't know what you're doing here, but make sure you check it out and then come back and see these reviews. I will be doing each review weekly. They did give us a 3 episode package, but they will be coming out once a week for the rest of the season, so make sure you subscribe so you guys can check those out. So without further ado, let's get into the review of episode 3. I don't know what this episode is actually titled, but I'm gonna go ahead and title it For the Love of June, because everything that everyone does, just about everyone does, no matter what their relationship is to June, they do it with a little bit of love and a little bit of compassion for June, which I think is so interesting. So if you saw my last review, I was questioning Nick's involvement with June. I didn't know what side he was on. I didn't know what his intentions were, and I really thought he turned his back on June. So in the beginning of this episode, we meet June. She's shackled. She's on her way to a jail, and this is all by Nick's hand. So immediately I'm thinking he is on the wrong side. He is supporting the wrong team, and he's about to cross June. While she's in jail, we finally meet Lydia. Now, we saw in the last episode that Lydia has vowed to have June in jail, on the wall, captured, whatever. She did not have June's best interest in mind. And so it was really scary to see Lydia, because obviously that's not good news. They torture her, trying to get the information for her to give up the other handmaids, and where they're hiding. And so I'm not saying that that was out of love for June, but you did see that there was a little bit of remorse from Lydia. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but even when torturing was happening, or she knew the torture was about to happen, or she was in the room, she still turned her head just a little bit and she winced a few times. If you didn't notice that, you can go back in the episode and just watch her. And I was just like, this is interesting, because she had so much fervor and anger. And as she should, right? Because June is really a thorn in her side. But even when she was being tortured and receiving a punishment that was deserving in Lydia's eyes, she still couldn't bear to see it happening. And so I'm thinking, there's still a little bit of compassion and love. There's still that old Lydia before she changed inside Aunt Lydia. So that was really interesting to see. Let's get into Luke. Obviously, someone who loves June from the moon back, but he takes his turn on placing the blame on June and venting. We saw Moira do it in the last episode. Finally, Luke breaks. He learns that June has been captured. He is completely, and he doesn't even know what to do at this point, and he's wondering, why am I giving up all this emotion? Why do I have so much hope for this situation? Why am I even doing all of this when June has chose to do what she's doing? And we all come to that realization that, wow, everyone's advocating for June and wishing June well, but June is actually choosing to never escape. Like I said, it was 3 or 4 times that she had opportunities to escape and she didn't. And Luke is realizing that. And someone even gave him a tip to plant something for good luck in the back, and he was probably just like, yeah, okay, whatever. But even after he had that whole session of what the fuck, right? Why am I even doing this? She doesn't care, so why should I care? He still loves her so much. He couldn't just give up all hope. He did plant the plant for good luck, and you see him loving on her baby, who is growing, and it's just so much. It's a testament to how much strength Luke has. He's literally loving a child that was created out of sexual assault. Well, it was forced, right? As we learned what we've seen, that Nick and June were forced to have that baby, but it's a baby that's not his, right? And so the circumstances from which the baby came out of was completely egregious, yet Luke is loving and doting on this child, and despite everything. And so that is definitely a testament to his strength. Let's get to Commander Lawrence. This is another, I think, something that attributes to the For the Love of June theme that I have, because we see him after she's being tortured. She was waterboarded, which was ironic that she was waterboarded with a cloth that had a cross in it. Again, it's not that much of irony now we're in season 4 that they've used the Lord's name, that they used the cross, they've used Christianity in order to justify brutality against women, against everyone, right? But I thought that was a little bit of irony. After June gives the wrong location just to save herself from torture, getting her nails pulled out, she sees Commander Lawrence. And the way that Lydia set that up, I thought she was going to see someone way scarier, but she sees a friend, someone that she's familiar with. She sat down at a table that has lots of food. She's allowed to eat. She feels safe. But Commander Lawrence obviously is on the other side. He tells her, please just give me the information, and she refuses. Now, he does make a comment, and he says that he doesn't understand the evolutionary whatever surrounding motherhood. And I thought that was really interesting, as we know that he does not have children with his wife. He did not want to have sex with any of the handmaids, so he has never produced children before. And he also alluded to something that was going to happen. I'm thinking, oh my God. And so he kind of warned her, listen, tell me what the information that we need, because you don't want to see what happens next. Now we see Hannah in a cage. But before we get to that, that's why I'm tying that to the For the Love of June, because again, there are people along the way, regardless of what side that there are, who still have an affinity for her, even if it's just a little bit, still have some pity for her and some compassion for her, and still want to see the best for her, even though they know what's coming. And so we see Hannah in a cage. She's completely scared of June. We're to assume that they have filled her mind and brainwashed her to see June as a public enemy, a terrorist, someone who's not her mother. It seemed like she didn't even recognize her. She recognized her by face, as if she was looking at a woman from a mugshot on TV she sees in real life finally, and she ran to another corner to be away from her. It was actually really, really sad, but they pretty much turned her daughter against her, which broke June down completely and made her tell the location of of the other handmaids. Another part of the For the Love of June show was seeing Sienna and Beth. So because June early on was being so stubborn about the location of the handmaid, she wasn't ready to give it up for anything, they forced her to see a consequence outside of her. We've seen this happen so much in this show, where June doesn't die, and June might not be physically the person who receives the punishment. People around her, people who have helped her, people who are part of the plan, she has to literally either have a hand in their death or watch their death. And she had to watch she had to watch Beth and Sienna be pushed off of a building without any hesitation. I mean, there was a little bit of hesitation for Beth, but or a little bit of hesitation for Sienna, but literally the lieutenant guy who was in charge of the investigation. Sorry for the dog. The reason why I bring this up is because Beth was ready to die